back on their feet, touching all of surrounding city of St. Louis, Edwardsville, Illinois. That's where Jackie Jarris is. And, Jackie, we heard from you yesterday that at least, the folks at the Amazon facility getting a nice boost from their owner, from the owner of that company, to help them get their lives back in.
Yeah, $1 million they're donating to the Edwardsville Foundation, Community Foundation, to help not just the Amazon employees who find themselves 2 weeks before Christmas without paychecks right now. That's going to help them. It's going to help the victims' families, but it's also going to help the broader community. We're in the broader community right now, about 7/10 of a mile away from the Amazon facility, which you can kind of see over my shoulder here back in the background. We are at Grandpa's Peach Orchard, where a lot of damage has resulted here as well, but not just some of the buildings and the trees here at the orchard, but a lot of that debris from the Amazon facility has been caught up and all spewed all across this whole area. We think a lot about the people. Thankfully, the people here are okay and their homes are intact with the exception of one mobile home, but we also think about animals. So I want to bring in Bob Kraft. Bob, you've lived here for a long time, and we're looking at some of the bee houses here, and unfortunately your bees took a hit in all this.
It ripped the roofs off of them, and then it poured down rain, and I'm afraid a lot of them didn't make it because of exposure.
Any idea how many bees were affected or what percentage?
We'll really know in the spring when we go in and take them apart and get them ready for next year. But people don't realize bees are very important to us. They don't just sting you, they bring you a lot of food.
Right.
So we got to take care of them.
There are pollinators, and it's been difficult for bees with climate change and so many other things. Your bees have had a hard time of it because of the weather.
We figured we'll lose probably 50% every year, so we got to start new ones to replace them, and that's not easy to do, but we've got to keep them going. And so we produce 100% pure honey. People don't realize a lot that they get in the stores is from China. It's cut with rice syrup and sugar beet syrup and other odds and ends that we can't detect. So you're not buying pure honey when you buy that.
And local honey, good for people with allergies as well. So tell us a little bit more about, the weather is getting warm the next couple of days. That's actually not good, you say, for the bees this time of the year.
There's no pollen, no nectar out there for them. So if they're out flying, they're burning energy. When they come back home, they're like us. They want a nice meal. Well, they start eating up their stores. So by spring, they're running out of honey to eat. And they're so complex. It's just amazing what bees do and how they do it and everything. It's not just a bug flying around.
Right.
They're very complicated.
So Bob, you were here when the tornado actually came on through. This is your house here, and this is a concrete house. So you were in a safe place. What was that experience like for you?
They said there was tornadoes in the area, so I was looking out my patio door on the other side of the house there, back towards this pine tree. And I was looking out over the bottomlands there, watching for a tornado. And about that time, I didn't see a tornado until leaves were just flying up past that pine tree and going around in a circle. It formed right on top of that pine tree. There was no tail coming to it. It formed there, went on across and did the machine shed in and our buildings over there. It's interesting, my honey extracting house, it's laid it over to the west. Now behind the big machine shed, it ended up going at the same time, but we had a container behind it, one of those trailer truck containers. When Amazons came across, it laid it the other direction. So my bee house is this way, container's that way. So we had 2 tornadoes go through here. This was the first one, and we got some shingles missing. We've got our sales stand over there. We're in pecan season right now, selling pecans. And then we've got our son's house over there. We basically weren't hurt, but we've lost our greenhouse, the bee house, the little barn, the machine shed, another shed, a mobile home, lost a few things.
It's a lot, but you plan to rebuild? Do you plan to keep going?
Well, like farmers say, next year will be better. But the worst problem is all of Amazon's got their roof all through the peach orchard. That orchard's only about 4 years old. It would have been full production this year, but already it has tore out about, 40% of the orchard. And now we've got to get in there to get all that out. That's going to cause more damage to them. So yeah, that's going to really hurt us.
All right, long process ahead of you. We're wishing you guys the best. We're glad that everybody is okay here and safe, because that was not the case at the Amazon facility and warehouse, just a little ways down the road. So long process ahead of here, and we're expecting that that's going to take a long time moving forward, but the community is coming together, and Amazon is again donating more than $1 million to help the community here just in Edwardsville. Alex, back to you.
Yeah, Jackie, it's just truly amazing. I mean, you think about all the different impacts, and of course, we talk about the impacts to human life, but all the way down to the bees.
The bees, yeah.
All right, Jackie, we'll certainly be